This is MC Tone from the 757 Spin Number the Truth. Back to y'all with another video. And today, I think week 8 proves that's any given Sunday because there was a couple of upsets today. It was a lot of shocking. The Ravens and Steelers game was far the best game of the week. And I'm gonna talk about that scores analysis coming. So I'm gonna start off with the Saints versus the Bears. I was wrong about the Saints. Drew Brees played well in the cold weather, but they relied heavily on Alvin Kamara, and that's their best offensive weapon. Knowing that Michael Thomas was out and Callaway was out, and that was huge for Alvin Kamara to have a game that he did. Drew Brees, he definitely, for what he is, he's still one of the best quarterbacks ever to play this game, and he's still a great game. He can still be a great game manager. The Saints defense did pretty well. The Bears, man, I don't really know about them. The Bears, their offense is, you don't know its identity. No run game. I'm really disappointed with the run game with the Chicago Bears, and I think not having a solidified running back, Montgomery, he's not seeming like he's getting the job done. And Nick Foles, they're 0-3 right now. They're 0-3 since I think he started as a no, excuse me, they're 1-2 as him starting as the quarterback, and it's been rough for Nick Foles. So in the Chicago Bears. So I think the Saints did a great job. Drew Brees, Sean Payton, they did a great job calling that game. The 49ers versus the Seahawks. Russell Wilson bouncing back from a bad game. Not a bad game, but for his standard, a bad game last week. And whoa, what a performance that he put on. He, 4 touchdowns. He might break the record for the most touchdown passes. And it's crazy. That's not normal still for a quarterback to throw 50 touchdown passes. I know the league has gotten a little bit, I wouldn't say softer, but the rules have definitely been applied more to help the offense. But Russell Wilson still might throw for 50 touchdowns is still pretty impressive. That's not something that happens all the time. And Russell Wilson, he's going to win the MVP. I think he's a runaway MVP candidate right now. The Cowboys versus the Eagles, 9-23. If you look at the score, you would think this game was not even close, but the Cowboys defense played with a lot more effort to me. It was a lot more effort. The offense just, when you lost Andy Dalton, who's a proven quarterback, you lost Dak Prescott, who people say what they want about that. He did cover up a lot of issues that this team had, and this team is just not going to be a good team this year. This is not a good Cowboys team. I don't really know what you do in the draft. If you get in the top 5, do you try to take a chance at the Trevor Lawrence and try to move up to get him? I don't know, but they just have a lot of issues right now. And the team did play a lot better. Carson Wentz just had 3 turnovers, man. Carson Wentz, I just don't know. And some of these interceptions to me are just mind-boggling, and it's just, I don't know if the Eagles can make it over. They're winning. They're probably going to win this bad division, but this is not a long-term recipe, and I do want to see them get better. The Chargers versus the Broncos, 30-31. Drew Lock outperformed them. Justin Herbert didn't commit as many turnovers as him. Justin Herbert had a few interceptions. He still is a rookie, so mistakes are gonna happen. Had a couple of plays, you're like, wow, man. And once he starts learning the game for real, he's gonna be dangerous. But you can't have those. The Broncos, Drew Lock had a big game. 3 touchdown passes. Vic Fangio, he has his team playing right. I think Drew Lock, now that he's come back from injury, hopefully they can get a little bit more consistent. This is a Broncos team that, hey, in a few games they win a couple of these games, they could talk about a playoff spot. You got the Raiders 16 versus the Browns 6. Very disappointed at Baker Mayfield. And this, there was a talk about how this offense was better without Odell Beckham. They played the Bengals. Who have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. So let's stop that this Baker Mayfield is suddenly now better without Odell. I think that was just people in Looney Town. In this today's league, you need as many weapons as possible. Why do you think Tampa Bay is keep on signing them? Why do you think the Chiefs are keep on signing them? Because that's not how football is not. The football is not played anymore with you just having a few pieces in the offense, and you need weapons. You need weapons at the wide receiver position, running back position, as many weapons as possible. There's no such thing to me anymore as too many weapons in football, too many mouths to feed. And the Browns just didn't get it done. The Raiders and John Gruden got those guys playing good, 4-3. They've been playing pretty good. Josh Jacobs, 31 carries, over 100 yards rushing, had a solid game. Derek Carr, played pretty good, especially with the high winds and conditions. But I'm just really disappointed in Baker Mayfield. Um, Patriots 21, Bills 24. This was a must-win, Camp said, and it's just such that they were driving. He was playing pretty decent at that point, and he's the one who fumbled the ball, and the Bills got it in. Man, this seems like a bad loss for the Patriots. This season might turn ugly, but I'm not going to say that. I'm still going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They can make a run, but the way they're playing right now, they don't have the weapons. They don't got the pieces, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Um, this Pacers team, I think, is just going to probably end up finishing in the top 10. And this is a rebuilding year for them. A rebuilding year. Teach the young guys, and they'll be back and better next year. I don't know what they're going to do at the quarterback position next year. Maybe they bring Cam back, but I don't know, especially with the COVID happening. Really disappointed in Josh Allen, too. Didn't have a great game. Threw a pick. He just regressed. He's been regressing these last 3 games, and he's not been as sharp as he was when we was calling him. Maybe he's in the MVP conversation, so he's been definitely disappointed. But they still got the win. Rams 17, Dolphins 28. The Dolphins, like I said, Brian Flores has that team, special teams, defense, offense. They did it in every way possible, and that goes to credit for for the head coach and the culture that he set in Miami. They got rid of Adam Gase, and look what he's doing to the Jets. Bringing Brian Flores, and he's actually flourishing. Flourishing. The Miami Dolphins are flourishing right now, competing for the division. Tua, he was pressured. The touchdown pass was highly accurate. I'm gonna give him a pass for this first game, just because this is his first game, and you didn't want to do too much. Let's see what we got. But he definitely played good. Didn't throw a pick. Was safe with the football. But yeah, the- Jared Goff, man, he's just such a streaky quarterback. When he's hot, he's hot. When he's cold, he is cold. And Jared Goff, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles. It just was an ugly game for him. Ugly game for him. Made it very uncomfortable. Dolphins made it very uncomfortable, and Brian Flores got that defense playing really well. You got the Steelers 28 versus the Ravens 24. Um, Shout out to Mike Tomlin and having that defense. That defense was playing really well. Baltimore, what hurt them was the turnovers. The turnovers and turnovers. Lamar accounted for 4 of them. And the play calling to me was not consistent. I hated the play calling. So sometimes the play calling was like, yes, let him throw the ball, stretch the defense out. But then I see the offensive play calling, it's stale. I think they run too much of the same formations, too much of the same concepts, and not like there's no creativeness in its offense. You got Hollywood Brown, you got these playmakers, but I just don't see them using their playmakers to the best of their ability. Greg Roman needs to really get to see what they can get out of this passing game, because the passing game is really holding them back. And I don't think it's Lamar. I just think it's the play calling that is really holding this team back. And they ran the ball pretty good. The Steelers, Big Ben played pretty well. It was definitely a good game for Big Ben. He 2 touchdown passes, didn't turn over the ball. Just a great game for a solid game from Big Ben. And Clay Chasepool, he looks like he look like he's gonna be the #1 target for that Steelers team for a while. 6'4", over 235. He's pretty good. You got the Colts 41 versus the Lions 21. The Colts, Philip Rivers, he put this team on his back for this game. Not saying that this was a grinded out win, but he had 3 touchdown passes, over 200 yards passing. He was definitely solid. Philip Rivers made a couple of throws on Nico Hines. He did a great job this game. He had two touchdowns, and this Colts team, they're playing really good. I think they have one of the best offensive line, if not the best offensive line in football. Their defense played a lot better than in the last 2 weeks that they played. The Lions, like I said, even though he had over 300 yards passing, that was towards the end of the game. But one thing that troubles me, the Lions did not run the ball efficiently, so they had to lean more on Matthew Stafford, and I don't think you can ask him to do too much. I think he's starting. We can all be honest. I think he's good, but he's not. He's like more on the average side. He's an average starting quarterback, and that's what it is. I think in this league. You got the Jets 9 and the Chiefs 35. He has Patrick Mahomes has more touchdown passes than than the Jets have all season in one game. Adam Gase is not that guy, y'all. He's not. I don't know when the Jets got to see it, who got to see it. I don't know what they're doing, but he's just not not a good guy for their culture, not a good guy to run their football team, and I'm just really disappointed with the Jets. They just they might finish 0-16, and I think Sam Darnold is a lot better than what people are giving him credit for. I think this is just a bad organization, and the Chiefs look like they're going on another Super Bowl run. They're just so quiet. Nobody's really talking about the Chiefs right now, but right now they're one of the best teams. Titans 20, Bengals 31. This was another upset. The Titans, they couldn't get the run game going early. The Bengals hopped up on top. The Bengals stayed in the league. Joe Burrow is the rookie. He's looking like the rookie of the year, if not the rookie of the year. He's getting better and better each and every single game. You can argue he's trying to push to be the best quarterback in the division right now. You got Big Ben and Lamar Jackson's, and you put Joe Burrow on that team, both those teams. I don't know what you get, but Joe's been playing pretty good. Joe Burrow's definitely playing pretty good. Like I said, he reminds me of a bigger Tony Romo if he would played in this NFL. So shout out to the Bengals. I don't think the Bengals, for what their record is, they're not a bad 2-5 team. They're definitely a team that's on the rise. You got the Vikings 28 versus the Packers 22. When you got Dalvin Cook scoring 4 touchdowns in Lambeau, going crazy against the Packers, and the Packers can't stop the rush, and that was the problem for the Packers last year. They couldn't stop the rush, and at the end of the day, the Packers ran all over them. The Vikings ran all over him. Dalvin Cook ran all over him. Kirk Cousins, when you don't ask him to do too much, he can definitely be a good quarterback. But it's just like when you're not asking him to do much, he's not on Aaron Rodgers' level. Even though Aaron Rodgers, they lost. The Packers lost. Aaron Rodgers still threw for 3 touchdown passes. You got the Falcons 25 versus the Panthers. This was a Thursday night game. Teddy did not play good. The Falcons, they could be easily 5-3. If not just the bad decisions and situational football, the Falcons could be 5-3. And this is just a team that I'm mostly disappointed because they got the weapons. The defense played better, but the Falcons are just one of those confusing teams. Baltimore they just need to find an identity in terms of offensive wise, and they just need to get better scheming up things for their wide receivers, and just getting a little bit more creative. The Cowboys, they're just having a dysfunctional season. I think they're dysfunctional. They're turning into dysfunctional. They're turning into what Al Davis did to the Raiders. No offense to the late great Al Davis, but he's becoming him in terms of that organization. They're living on past memories, like the Raiders did for a while. They were living on past greatness, and right now that's what they're living on. So it's confusing for a lot of teams. The Chiefs are still the Super Bowl favorites. The Steelers are playing. They're 7-0 right now. The only undefeated team. They're definitely proving to everybody that they're are contenders. And I was even shocked how good they play. But Mike Tomlin, that defense is monsters. And Ben Roethlisberger, he's getting better and better each game. Even though last week he didn't have a solid game, but he bounced back, and like I said, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, and you shouldn't expect nothing less from a Big Ben. So this wraps it up. Like, subscribe if you like the video, man. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Tone out. Thank you.